Hey, 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 everybody. Happy Thursday and welcome back to the Real Deal Pod with Allister and Geoff. It's a beautiful sunny Thursday afternoon. It is episode 63 and I am back here with my main man, Jeff Lee, who's just coming off his 100,000 kilometer running, biking, flying, hiking, doing all that craziness across Canada thing that he did over the weekend. Jeff, my man, you survived. You're looking good. You're looking healthy. Nothing's broken. You look like you're looking healthy, man. That thing did you well.
Yeah, 155 kilometers will do you well. I think burned 5,000 calories, rode 5 hours, 41 minutes in the saddle, grinded it through, worked through the cramps, worked through the heat, worked through the chaos. But you know what?
The heat is the biggest thing, Jeff, because it has been redonkulous. It's been ridiculous, man.
Yeah, I think it was like 36 degrees as we're riding. But when you ride, you're not really feeling that heat when you're going, that 35, 40 kilometers an hour. It's when you start to slow down and when you're not hydrating properly, like that's when it can really get you. So yeah, you know what? The event was great. Had a great time. Went up with a whole bunch of friends, did some wine tours afterwards, just hung out by the lake. It was a great weekend. And I went to the weekend yesterday.
Oh, you went? Nice. How was it?
You know what? It was awesome. The guy's incredible.
Yeah.
But
my son loves him. My son absolutely loves him.
I think if I knew the words to the songs, I would have got into it more. But I'm horrible. I can listen to the same song 1 million times and not know the lyrics.
Okay, Jeff, that's okay. You're exactly like me. I am horrible with the names of a song. I am horrible with the names of the band, and I'm horrible with the lyrics. I love the beat. That's like, for me, I love the beat, the tune. I do understand, like, I do know some of the lyrics, and that, like, I like them. But to ask me to recite anything, I'm not one of those people that's going to recite the song word for word, verbatim for verbatim with everybody else. No, I can't roll like that.
Yeah, you throw a good old John Cougar Mellencamp song on, or a Journey, or a Willie Nelson, or the old.
Well, everybody knows "Don't Stop Believing," Jeff.
I can do those. I can.
Yeah, "Don't Stop Believing." That's a great song.
The new stuff, just again, I want to learn the lyrics, but it just doesn't stick.
Okay, Jeff, we're old. We can say that now. We can embrace that now. Right? We're just cool enough because we're hanging on to enjoy the music still. We don't have to go so far as to dress like them and sing like them, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's an incredible singer, though.
No, he is unbelievable. That's awesome, Jeff. Me, I had a nice, relaxing weekend with the family. I have really no updates. It was nice. It was fun. It was relaxing. It was actually just good. So that's it. That's all I had. Well, but we've got
sometimes that's the best weekend.
You need it, man, to recharge, buddy. That's the whole thing. You need it to recharge. So, man, we got a jam-packed thing to get into today. So as always, we wanted to start off with podcast's hardest segment, and that is, wait for it.
Did you know?
Did you know? Jeff, did you know, Jeff, as I'm fumbling around to pill it up because it is actually exciting. Did you know, Jeff, that Canada could be building 30,000 more homes per year just by removing the trade barriers, between the provinces?
Oh, between the provinces. Okay.
Between the provinces, Jeff. So according to CMHC, one of the biggest bottlenecks in housing construction isn't land, money, or labor. It's the outdated patchwork of interprovincial rules that makes it harder to move building materials, workers, and services from one part of the country to another.
Okay.
Yeah, so the irony, we already produce more than enough steel, lumber, and concrete right here at home. We just can't efficiently use it across borders. So while we export a lot of it, we're falling behind on building homes that we actually need. So it is actually easier for us to export our materials than it is to transport it through our own provinces.
Yeah, interesting.
So, yeah. So now the federal government passed Bill C5. So it's a new law aimed at cutting federal red tape and speeding up permitting for large-scale infrastructure. It's a meaningful start, but the catch is the most restrictive rules live at the provincial level. So unless the provinces come to the table, it'll still remain a partial fix. So a big part of this is going to be the provinces coming to agreement on getting these resources transported across the country. CMHC says if we actually align the systems and remove those internal walls, we could push housing starts to nearly 280,000 units per year, which is a big leap forward towards closing Canada's housing supply gap and restoring affordability, right?
But I also then hear
the developer piece, I get it.
Inventory at all-time highs. Then I also hear, people
sure,
having that affordability issue, which can be in their mind, which is what we're going to talk about today. And then I also hear what we talked about in the past. It's about the permitting in the municipalities that handcuff a lot of things as well. So it's again, I'm interested, but then I have these questions that pop up.
Well, I think that's all encompassing though, right? That tells you actually a whole part of the story, which is, as a conservative, I will always speak to, it's government bureaucracy, right? So you've just said it. We've got municipal issues. Of course, municipals have been an issue, but they're not as much anymore. I already spoke of Port Coquitlam that was already doing that massive build, utilizing money given by the feds. Right? There's already a lot of cities here in British Columbia that are taking advantage of federal money to do builds, right? So it's mainly the provinces that have been the issue, and that's where I said before, right? It wasn't until it was up until 1993, I believe it was 93, 95, that the feds were in our housing, and that's back when we did have affordable housing. And then the feds stepped back, left everything to the provinces, and we saw a spike from that time till now with the provinces handling how housing went. That's why the feds are stepping back in now. Right. So I think it just shows that the crux of the issue started with provinces. It's always been the issue with the provinces has been number one. Federal government stepping away, and municipalities not having the bureaucracy to not get things passed through, and all of the sort of red tape and nonsense that goes in with there. It all goes back to the government. So if all factors align, municipal, provincial, and federal, if they would just finally align, cut out all of the red tape, cut out all of the stupid departments, streamline themselves, then we can absolutely restore affordable housing. What that number looks like, everybody's going to debate. Right? Everybody's going to have a number of what that number can look like. And the reason being is housing affordability looks different everywhere. And that's because we allow the provinces to do what they've done. And anybody can argue with me. I have enough political backup to say what the Liberal government did here with Gary Sillinger, the premier that was here when I moved in, Christy Clark, the one that took over. They took hand over fist. They took money hand over fist to drive up the housing in this province. Hand over fist, they killed the real estate in this province. Those two governments killed the provinces, and that's what I'm saying, right? The other provinces didn't see this, right? Ontario, their affordability grew because of it, and people moving investor money more out of Vancouver, British Columbia, and starting to invest there, and then moving that money out of there, and then starting to invest it into Quebec, and then Quebec went into Alberta, right? That's kind of how that chain went, and that became a provincial issue with the provinces taking money from investors. Had the Fed still stayed in it, right? That would never have happened, and housing would have stayed under control, right? So the issue has always been, and it will always be, the province's number one, in my opinion. And it's an absolute debatable issue, right? You can, and people can debate the municipal side, because there is red tape that goes on that's absolutely ridiculous, right? And so that can say that's the root of the problem, right? I still say the root of the problem is province, because that's where the money comes from. The municipalities don't generate the money for housing. That's not where it comes from. It comes from the provinces, right? So the root of the problem is the provinces. That's why I would say, like, that's where it has to get fixed. But
well, this is based on a recent study.
What is?
As far as the problem is based on provinces. I always think
this is exposing. No, this just exposes an outdated. This law has been in effect forever. This isn't a law that just got put in last week or last year, and they're like, oh, this just created a problem. This law, it's an outdated law, right? That has made it easier to export our product than transport it, right? Then transport it across Canada. And those laws remain in the provinces, between the provinces. Each province has their own law. So the provinces have to release it.
Right. Well, where we go back, did you know? Like, I didn't know, but if everyone didn't know, then this would have been something that may have been addressed a little bit earlier, or would have been a campaign of some sort, but it's being resurfaced with this study. And then I always will go back, like, hindsight is always 2020.
I think
if I could turn back my clock 20 years, I would do a whole bunch of things different.
Well, no, 100%. No, 100%, because nobody. So when all of this stuff came about, all of this stuff was built around globalism, right? All of this stuff was opening up trade barriers with the rest of the world, right? Exporting product out to the rest of the world. What nobody expected was the mass influx of people into the Western countries, whether it be the United States, whether it be Canada, right? And then supply shrinking, right? Nobody saw that factor come in, right? That's the part where nobody saw that part, right?
Okay.
I don't know, man. I just think that the biggest thing that has to happen is, and it shows that outdated rules, and I'm glad C5, right, addresses it, right? But again, it's only a partial fix if the provinces don't release their end of it, and that's the issue, right? I think the provinces hold the ball now is in their court now to release the barriers, because if they don't, then we still have this issue where our cost of supply is too much. The reason our cost of supply is so expensive is because we have to import it, right? Right? The whole part of this article is we actually create enough here. We just can't move it across to use it.
Right.
Right? Does that make any sense?
No.
So it's beholden on the provinces to remove those barriers. That's really the only thing that makes sense to me. I don't know. Am I off?
No, what you're saying makes sense. It's just a matter of, if it was that simple, why haven't they done it, right? So
because provinces are the same way. Every politician has their own freaking agenda.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's every politician has its own agenda. My deal is it should never have been placed into the politicians, into the hands of the provinces themselves, because that's where the crux of the issue is. When it's taken out of the hands of one and given to the hands of many, it becomes abused by all. 100%. 100%. Because now you can't rein it in. How are you going to rein in 12 people to agree? You really think we're going to get 12 provinces to agree to relinquish control on real estate in their province when they know they get money from these people? Again, Gary Selinger, Christy Clark.
I don't know too much about the background of it all. I just always, like I said, is hindsight's 2020. this could be a big reversey and
So this is
hold on. And
yeah,
the
go
federal
ahead.
government and the federal government have control. And then we would have said the provincials should have had the control. So again, we are at where we're at. There's nothing we can do about what has been done. It's about how we best move forward. But as you say, everybody has to be on the same page to do that. And are they going to be? Again, historically, probably not.
Yeah. And I say that that's why I think it's so important that people educate themselves constantly about this kind of stuff before they start speaking about it, right? And assuming they know about it or becoming laissez-faire about it, right? That's because, and again, right, that's the issue that we've gotten into in this world, right? People are laissez-faire about, oh, I don't know, it'll work itself out, everything will happen, whatever. Or you got assholes, that are either side spouting their uneducated opinion on it. And this is why I've always said it's so important to become educated about it so that people do have an informed opinion on it. And that's why I will say that my educated opinion on this is that the provinces are the key to this actually working. If the provinces, because I've read enough about this. I've read enough about Bill C5. I know about all the provinces Alberta, that were arguing against Bill C5. Danielle Smith, you stupid, I freaking hate that. Sorry, hate's a strong word, dislike that woman. Arguing against Bill C5 because again, it took it out of the hands of the provinces, right? Housing is an issue. Housing needs to come out of the provinces' hands. How the provinces, the premiers have made enough money off of the souls of the people. Okay, for people that don't know Gary Sellinger, that don't know Christy Clark, that actually bothers me more because I moved here from Manitoba and know more about those people than people that were born and raised here and voted. That actually bothers me. That is actually tough because I moved here and know more. Right? That's crazy. Right?
Wasn't there an argument at one time where we were talking about the federal government having too much control on housing and that was going to handcuff?
Never. 1993. They haven't been involved in housing since 1995, 1993. This is the first time they've stepped in.
Yeah.
You can't argue it. How do you say that they're gonna make it worse when they haven't had an issue, they haven't had a hand in it in 20 years?
Yeah.
30 years, I'm sorry, 30 years. That's what I'm saying. So for people that haven't done the research, then they need to do the research on the history of their own province here in beautiful British Columbia, right? And understand that truly it needs to be taken out of the premier's hands. It truly has to be removed. It's crazy. And that, yeah, it's nuts. So anyways, that's my passionate did you know?
Yeah. Very passionate. Very good. Did you know? So let's move forward.
Let's go. What do we got? Now we're talking about what?
Well, I don't know. I thought we would talk about renting and buying in BC or in any other province in Canada.
Oh, yeah, I think that's a great one. We've been talking about that over the past little bit, just now how close it's become between renting and purchasing. Right. So, and I think that again, and we said it's something that I think we should be pounding the message now every single week almost, right? Saying, hey guys, financial security, your future financial security, right, is now attainable. Maybe it wasn't, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, but now it's almost at your fingertips.
Yeah. And I think once we kind of dig into it a little bit and get into the nitty-gritty of it, it does start to make more sense as you start to crunch the numbers. So, we talked about a 2-bedroom? No, a 1-bedroom condo in Vancouver, 600 square feet was $3,200 a month, $3,600 a month. What?
Yeah, something $3,600 a month or something like that. Yeah.
But I think we can
3670, I think it was, just to be exact. I think
that was for a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom.
I thought it was a 2.
Right.
No, it was a 1. I'm sorry. No, it was a 1. It was a 1. 1 and 1.
let's say that average rent, like my son who just bought a investment property, he's renting his place out for I think 2,500 a month. So that's the Fraser Valley 2-bedroom condo, standard. Let's say that this 1-bedroom
You're averaging
condo in
550 for a two.
Vancouver,
You're averaging 550 grand for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom in this Fraser Valley. That's probably your average.
we talking purchase price, we talking monthly rental.
Oh, purchase price of condo is 200.
So I'm talking average rental, right?
Oh, average rental, yeah, about 25, 27.
Right. So I would say that the average rent, if we talk about the Fraser Valley and the greater Vancouver area, possibly in Vancouver, I would say we could agree that the average rent is anywhere from 2,500 to 3,200 bucks. True?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, just to be fair. Yeah.
So understanding too that when we're renting for 25 to 3,200 and we're paying that rent, there is no equity or ownership in what you're doing. So if you really think about if you're spending $2,500 a month in your rent over the next 5 years, that will have absolutely zero return. You have given someone or somebody $150,000 if your rent is 2,500 bucks. If your rent is say 3,200, you have just passed on $192,000 of income in 5 years with absolutely zero return.
Yep.
Also keep in mind, depending on the province that you're in, your rent is going to continue to increase. Here in BC, I believe it's a 3% rental increase. In other provinces, it's limitless. So again, keep in mind that $2,500 rent today may be $2,700 next year.
And can I interrupt with a quick thing? In a lot of cases, the rent, province to province, isn't any different. So to rent out a single family home in Winnipeg, Manitoba, you're looking at about $2,900. $2,900 for a single family home. But that's what you're also spending for a single family home in the Fraser Valley for the upstairs.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Do you see? That's the exact same thing you're getting in Winnipeg, because a lot of them are building out basement suites now, right? So that's what I'm saying. Where like the cost of like the rental market hasn't even changed.
Yeah.
From a price point perspective.
And I want to use this comparison too, and not to get too crazy as far as a detached home. I wanted to keep this really entry level, because if you're renting, the likelihood is that you're probably going to be in an entry level purchase, right? So
most people will rent a condo, yes, right. For sure.
So let's just call it apples to apples. Let's just say an average entry level condo, say here in the greater Vancouver area or the Fraser Valley, is roughly around 500,000 ish.
Yeah.
Right. Let's just use it for illustration purposes.
Easy math. Yeah.
Right. With 10% down, of a purchase of 500,000 with 10% down, your mortgage payment is roughly about $2,200 a month. Okay.
Yep.
When we throw the condo fees and the taxes, the property taxes in there, we'll add about $625. I think that's actually even a little aggressive, but again, your total
and insurance would be what, about $100. You got to throw in insurance is about $100 a month. No. Insurance
meaning your
contents insurance. Yeah. No, your contents insurance. You got to for your property. You got to have that. So I always make sure when I'm having this discussion too with clients is I always make sure add in your property and your contents. So that's going to be $100. I think about $100. It's like $1,200 for the year.
Sure. So let's say that with your mortgage, with your taxes, with your insurance, and with your fees, your total is about $2,850. Okay.
Yep.
So depending on where you're at and where you're buying, keep in mind that average rent could be anywhere from $2,500 to $3,200. So depending on where you're at, you could be losing a little bit of money or saving a little bit of money. But the value add here really is what you are putting into your payments each and every month and building onto the equity of your home. So remember what we said earlier, Allister, is that if you have a $2,500 a month rental obligation over a course of 5 years, that's 150 grand that you are just spending in shelter costs with no equity return, with zero return. if you're in Vancouver or a little bit deeper to or closer to the water, you know, if your rent is about 3,200, that's about 192,000 with zero return. So even if you are saying that with a 10% down payment on an entry level condo, the total payment is about 2,850. Even if people will argue, well, they'll say, well, 2,850, I'm only paying 2,500. It's actually cheaper for me to rent. Well, no, it's not, because that 2,500 that you've just spent over the course of 5 years is $150,000 that you just put into somebody else's piggy bank.
You burnt that money. You burnt it.
Right?
You put it in a can and you set it on fire.
So here's the other thing. Let's talk about an entry-level condo with 20% down, right? That's a monthly payment of about $2,000 a month. When you throw your taxes in, your condo fees and your insurance, and again, a little bit aggressive, say it's about $725. So that's a total monthly payment of $2,725. And again, goes back to the same argument. If you are paying anywhere from $2,500 to $3,200 a month in rent, that monthly rent or that monthly shelter cost is going nowhere with zero return. That is basically, you're just spending it, you're living. But if you owned a home, that again is going towards the biggest piggy bank of your life in a property that you own. And again, building equity.
And what have we said, Geoff? At the ages of 35, you are worth $44,000 if you rent an apartment. You are worth $440,000 if you own it.
Yep. And then at the age of 65,
you are worth $11,900. And if you own your home at 65, you are worth 1.4 million. That is ridiculous.
Right. So again, the illustrations we're using is on an entry-level property, right?
Yes.
It's for a $500,000 condo. Yeah. The illustrations we're using is with 10 to 20% down, right? Yeah. The illustration that we're using is when we take a look at those payments, you're spending anywhere from, say, $2,600 to $2,900 a month. And again, depending on what you're doing the math, we could say, hey, yes, you're losing money as far as what's going out of your pocket, but what we always need to realize is what you're putting that money into. If you're renting, you're putting that money into nothing. If you're 100%. Owning, you're putting that monthly rental into something, which is building equity, right?
Yeah, it's putting it into, like you just said, the biggest piggy bank you'll ever have. That's what you're doing. You're just putting it in a big piggy bank. Like, man, it makes sense. Sorry.
Well, and it's a little crazy too, because people have to use the right common sense here. Yeah. And I'm actually not going to use the name, but I just got off the phone with somebody that's very, very close to me. And he's like, oh, I'm going to be buying a car. I'm like, okay. But, my monthly payment is going to be the same. It's just going to be a brand new car. So everything's going to be the same. And I'm like, okay, tell me how much you owe on your current car. Why I owe $20,000. Okay. Tell me how much you're going to owe on this new car if you purchase it. Well, I'm going to owe $40,000. And it's like, okay, but you're incurring $20,000 more of debt. So is it
the same?
Is that really the same? No, but the payment's the same. And, and I'm really not doing anything different. And I'm like, but you are doing something different. You're incurring $20,000 more of debt and something you actually don't even really need, because there's nothing wrong with the car that you have.
Exactly.
You don't understand. Like, no, I totally understand.
Yep.
I understand that you're buying a new vehicle. Yes, the monthly payment is the same. I understand that in its entirety. What you don't understand is you're taking on $40,000 worth of debt now versus 20. Right?
Yeah.
And then I'm going like, what does it cost to buy this car if you're just to buy it new? Well, $36,000. And I'm like, okay, so you owe 20, you're getting 40, you can buy this thing brand new for 36. I'm like, where is the math here that's doing you the justice? It's actually
exactly.
it's doing the dealership the justice.
They're getting extra $4,000 for the $36,000 car. Have you not done the math, my friend?
And where I go with this is that we go set in our ways where we just see what we want to see, right?
Yeah.
We don't see the big picture here. We just see, hey, it's a brand new car. It's the same payment. It's actually only $100 more. I can afford it. But what we don't realize is the debt that you're incurring, right?
Yeah.
So I go back to even with renting versus buying. Okay, yes, let's even say your rent is $2,500. Okay, your mortgage payment is $2,600 to $2,900. Some people with short-sightedness might say, well, I'm losing $400 a month. It's better for me to rent. What they're not seeing is the big picture as far as every time that you make a mortgage payment, that's going into your biggest piggy bank of your life. That is going into building the equity of an asset that's going to appreciate anywhere from 4 to 10% a year. This is a win-win situation for you, even though that you're coming out of it $400 to $800 or $400 short, because
supposedly
you can be saving $400 if I'm renting versus if I'm buying. But again,
listen,
you're missing the big picture. You're seeing something that's directly in front of you. You're not seeing something that is at a bird's eye view, right? So
that's what I was going to say. I was going to agree with that. I'm saying this person literally is saying in front of you, I'm losing. Yes, no, I'm going to lose money, not the fact that I'm worth $440,000 instead of $44,000. Right? Like that's the whole thing. Would you rather be worth $440,000 and lose a couple $100 a month? Or would you rather be worth 44? I don't know about your math and I don't know about your wealth. I'm picking 440.
Well, and let's take a look at appreciation of a property. Like we can see statistics that property appreciates anywhere from 4 to 10% a year.
Yeah.
So let's even use again on a low percentage of 4%. That property that you're purchasing for 500,000 in 5 years, it's going to be worth 600,000, right? Yeah. So even say that your mortgage payment and everything is 2,900 and your rent is 400. So over a course of 5 years, you've basically lost, or you're in a shortfall of 24 grand. But in an equity position, you just made 100,000. So in essence, if you're
up 75 grand,
you're up $76,000.
Exactly.
Right? Now let's take a look back to this vehicle purchase. You're actually spending $100 more a month. You're actually incurring $20,000 more worth of debt. And that vehicle, as soon as you roll it off the lot, depreciates, what is it, 30%?
20%. 20% as soon as it leaves the lot. Yeah, 20%.
So again, how does that make sense for a purchase? And then it's like, don't worry, I can make the money, I can make the payments. And I'm like, I'm not saying that you can't. What I'm saying
that's not the issue.
What I'm saying is you need to understand the bird's eye vision as far as what I'm saying. Hey, and don't get me wrong. If you have a car that needs to be replaced, replace that car. Sure. And then there's the argument that maybe you should buy secondhand versus new, right?
Yeah.
But I'm guilty of that.
I'm that guy.
I'm the other guy. I love new, right?
And when I say secondhand, I'm the guy that says you should buy a car 2 years old. Right. Just because you let them take the depreciation hit. We were just talking about all that sort of stuff. Same vehicle, yada, yada. They don't do, and everybody has their argument. They don't do the body change. It depends on when you buy it. That's when the body changes are done, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. But
I don't know.
But that's the whole thing.
I think the timing of that conversation just actually came in at the right time where it's like, again, yes, it's a new car. Yes, you can afford it. Yes, it's only $100 more a month. Yes, you're already used to making that payment. But what you're not seeing is that you're incurring $20,000 worth more of debt, right?
Well, that's it. It does not matter how many yeses you can get out of this. It will never make it a good idea. It will never make it make sense. That's the whole thing. I can tell you a lot of, you can give out a lot of things that sure, all those things would be great. But no, at the end of the day, it does not make sense.
And and sometimes it does make sense.
Only if the cars need it. That's what I mean. Only if the cars need it.
That's right.
It's a safety thing then.
And it's the same thing when we're talking about renting versus buying, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So when we're renting, yes, let's say for argument's sake, your rent is going to be cheaper than your mortgage. But in today's environment, I don't think it's going to be that much cheaper, if it's going to be cheaper at all. And say hypothetically speaking, for illustration purposes, your rent is $2,500, your mortgage and all its monthly costs are $2,900. So yes, again, you are out of pocket $400 a month in comparison if you're renting. But again, that $2,500 a month for rent is $150,000 that you're putting into someone else's piggy bank and not your own.
Yep.
And then in addition, we throw the appreciation on it and we be even somewhat conservative and say it's only 4%. That's another $100,000 of appreciation that you've just gained. And yes, when you do the math of $400 that you're losing each and every month over a period of 5 years, that's 24 grand. But you just made 100 grand of equity. So again, you're in the surplus of $76,000. You're not in the negative at all. And that again, Allister, is based on an illustration where you're losing money each and every month from renting versus buying.
Right.
Let's do the reversey and say it's the same, or now you're actually cheaper by doing a monthly mortgage payment and all its taxes, insurance, and condo fees. And then you do that math. It just comes out stronger. It makes more and more sense when you do it even the other way, right?
Yeah.
But it makes even more it makes complete sense if you are coming out with a shortfall when you do the math.
And that's it. It's funny that we're doing this topic today. It's why I got so excited when you asked me what topic should we do today, and you're laying them out, and I said this one. And it's because I just had this discussion with clients, right? So we always tell people you should be working with people that have these discussions with you. In all honesty, your realtor should be having this discussion with you. Now, let's preface this. It's realtors, we do not understand nor talk about mortgages. Okay, I want you to understand that is not our job, that is not our lane, that is not our role. We actually will get fined if we do so. But with that being said, we work with trusted professionals. Mine is Geoff Lee with GLM Mortgage Group. And Geoff is always so kind as to give us a rate range, right? That we can work with our clients. And so that's what I'll do with my clients. We'll sit there and we'll have that discussion. Okay, let's lay out your balance sheet, so to speak. Let's lay out the costs, your renting costs, your utility costs, because you're paying utilities and all of that sort of good stuff. Now let's see what that cost would be to buy your insurance and all of the strata fees and all of that good stuff included with your mortgage payment. And let's put those numbers side by side. And let's talk about if that makes sense. And let's say that number is you are a $400 shortfall. And you tell me, you know what, Allister, see, I can't see it's $400. I can't afford that $400. Well, let's dig a little bit deeper, because a lot of times we'll find out that it's really not an income problem. It's really not a savings problem. It's really a spending problem. And that $200 every 2 weeks, $400 a month is easily rounded about to allow you to afford this beautiful condo and allow you to join the group of people that are worth $440,000, as opposed to wasting your money paying additional bills like getting a new car and all that sort of good stuff and renting and being worth $44,000 a year. So that's why I laughed when we were talking. I was like, yeah, I add on $100 for the utility or for the home insurance, for the content insurance, because Geoff, Geoff, we talk about this all the time every Friday. Geoff and I talk about this, and this is part of this is really, if you have a true power group, right? A true power team like Geoff and I that tell you guys, or encourage you, not tell you, but encourage you guys to have, right? You guys should be having these discussions. Your realtor should be having these discussions with you alongside your mortgage, your lender, and they should be saying the exact same thing, right? I don't know what you
Or
think.
they should be saying something different that's making you think that makes sense,
Right.
right?
Okay. Well, I don't know how much different.
Well,
I
there's
mean,
a
in
lot
terms,
of there's a lot
go
of
ahead.
people, Alistair, that basically will tell you the wrong thing,
Oh,
right?
sure. Yes.
And,
Yes.
and that's where you need to be careful because
Yes.
there are people that will argue with, hey, I think renting is better than buying. Like
100%.
there's people that will put that argument out there.
A
Um,
true power team will guide you the right way, though. That's what I mean, is one that you trust and is going to have, because listen, there's going to be times where Jeff and I will agree, look, this person, it's not suited for them to purchase right now. You know what? Let's kind of figure out a plan, and then we'll circle back with them in 7 months. Once this debt should be taken care of, once this should be taken care of, they should be in a good position to go. All right, there's your plan. And then every 3 months, I check up with the person. Are you still on your plan? Are you still doing the stuff that we talked about? Right? That's what a power team does. That's your one voice. We're going to help you through this. That's why I was saying, like, they shouldn't be speaking different things. If they are speaking different things, pick the right one and ditch that other one that's arguing with you. Because you're right. I know that I had a colleague that almost had a deal collapse because they brought the deal to they wrote up a deal. The clients brought it to the lender, and the lender looked at those clients and said, "Are you crazy to buy in this market?" And they almost backed out of the deal. My buddy was irate.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and again, that's where I always say is that you need to pick the proper power team that has the same ideologies as you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And also pick a power team that can challenge you in your ideologies, providing that it makes sense. Again, this gentleman who's purchasing the car, I could be on his power team and we're seeing things completely different, right?
Sure.
But again, and I do this a lot of times too, when I'm challenged, in my opinion, I can walk away from it and then think about it and say, yes, I either agree with that or no, I still don't agree with that. But again, excuse me, we have to be open to opinion and not take offense to it, right? And,
Exactly.
and, and that's where you'll see the maturity of your power team as well.
Yeah.
And that's where you'll see the maturity of yourself. Because a lot of times, if you find that you're getting angry or upset or emotional because you're not hearing what you want to hear,
Mhm.
you need to, no offense, grow up a little bit and take
100%.
and take a look at it at a bird's eye view, accept what is being said, walk away from it, think about it for 24 hours before you decide to move forward with whatever you're choosing to do, right?
Exactly. What people need to understand, and again, it's something that we've gotten away from, right? Everywhere in the world. It's not the United States, it's not Canada, it's legitimately the world, right? Is we've gotten lost of the fact that ideologies are based off of people's beliefs and experiences. That's what a person's ideologies are based off of. And they're based poorly, negatively, or positively, right? If somebody's had a negative experience in their lives with something that we feel is great, it does not matter what we say or do, their belief in that will be negative. And there's not much you can do to change their mind. It's not that they're wrong. People have to understand it's not that they're wrong. It's that their ideology is based on something different than ours.
Yeah.
And what we have to be able to do is, again, come to that age old saying of agree to disagree and move along, right? It should not fracture relationships. I've said it before. My brother in law, shout out to Matt Weed, he's the justice minister for the NDP party in Winnipeg, Manitoba, right? I bleed blue. I'm a conservative, right? He's one of my greatest friends. I love the dude, right? We can talk politics easy. He's got amazing ideas, some that I agree with, some that I don't. Many that I do agree with, we just agree with going about it different ways. But every time we just walk away from the argument, or not argument, pardon me, from the discussion, I beg your pardon, saying to each other, right, respectfully agree to disagree, and we just go talk about the football game or go eat or whatever, laugh and joke, right? But that's the thing, right? That's how it is. That's how mature people should behave. That's what we've lost in this world. Right? It's just venom and spitting, and whose ever side yells the loudest is the one that's right at that time. It's ridiculous. Like I tell people all the time, no matter how loud you yell, it doesn't mean you make your opinion right. Right? It may invalidate it in your mind, right? But it more so will just invalidate it in mine. Like if we talked with each other, then maybe I will come over to your side because there's part of it that I didn't see. Right? Yeah. Or even if I don't come to your side, my opinion might have been changed because there's aspects that I didn't know. Right? So now I have, again, like you just said, a more bird's eye view, a more bird's eye understanding of whatever that topic may be. Right? And I think that that's to your point, right? We have to be able to listen to that as professionals. We have to be able to receive criticism from our not criticism, guidance from our clients, and our clients need to receive guidance from them. And that doesn't mean that your power team is working against you or anybody is anything like that. That means you've got a healthy relationship, because to me, that means that each party has the best interest, has that other person's best interest at heart.
Oh, all said. Let's wrap. Man. And on that note,
let's do it, man. Well, everybody, thank you all for listening today. As always, I hope you take away at least one nugget, because again, Geoff and I have doubled down since January 1st, 2025 to deliver the most valuable content we can every single week. We hope you guys have an amazing weekend. It's supposed to cool down. Today's the last day, and then and when I say cool down, it's supposed to go down like I think 21, 22 degrees. Right? So it's not really that bad, but going down from like plus 30, this has been ridiculous, right? Going down from that to like 22, we're all going to be walking around like we're like people in California in sweaters and sitting there going, oh man, it's a chilly one today, right? And everybody's going to be looking going, oh, you guys are crazy people. But thank you all for listening today. We hope you guys all have a safe and amazing weekend. We can't wait to be back here with you guys next week. Continue to love us, continue to like us, continue to share us and tell everybody about us. But most importantly, stay empowered, stay informed, and Geoff,
stay tuned.
That's right, baby. Stay tuned. Peace out.